Oh, I don't know if there's anybody out there. It is a Wednesday after all. Just a weird day. I finally got my lawn mowing done, which kind of sucked that it had to wait so long because now I got weeds out here that goodness gracious, it's gonna take me forever and a day. Basically by the time I even get around to doing the landscaping on this suckfish, winter's here. So hello. Hey, let me get these things off here so I can see what the hell I'm looking at. Yeah, these are my safety glasses, but I had to wear the tinted ones because look here, it's really sunny out. Can you see? Really sunny out there today. So they were filming today. Oh crap! Now I wish I'd checked my Twitter app first. It's a former ballet school down in Lawnfair, I want to say, and they're based out of this one area. If you go check Doctor Who production news over on Twitter, and he had all the details up for that today. Just bounce around in his messages. I went ahead and got the lawn done here today because it was nice and cool out for a change. That was one of the reasons the lawn didn't get done for so goddamn long, because it was like in the hundreds out here, real feel. And I'm not going out there and charbroiling my ass into a big fat baked potato for anybody. But that's another advantage of living out here. Hang on, let's take a look around, shall we? Hang on. Yeah, look at over there. Neighbors got corn planted this year, so it's going to be children of the corn season here across the street. Corn and maybe some beans. But it's just amazing the shit out of me that this is all still going on. I still got people in the comment box throwing fits about Jodie Whittaker, and I'm like, that's funny. I remember when I was throwing fits about the 50th anniversary. Nobody gave a damn. And 75 minutes is more than enough for a 50th anniversary special. I'm hearing they may be filming into October. Now, if that is true, then yeah, I think, yes, Virginia, we might be getting a New Year's Day special. Then we're going to get the season. Then we're going to get another New Year's Day special. There's people speculating about Christmas, but the problem, they've made it pretty much firm, hands down, that we're not getting anything till 2020, which would probably fit in with New Year's Day. So it looks like New Year's Day, I'm hearing that about 3 weeks later, they're supposed to start season 12. But like I said, that's just all what I'm hearing. They could change that at any minute. Ugh. But other than that, like I said, I just wanted to get on here and mention a few things. Like I said, I mentioned earlier that I've heard something about the Sea Devils, and I'm not sure if that's confirmed or not. I'm really not. But it would make sense given the storyline I was told. It would involve, you all know that big environmental issue with the plastic in the oceans killing the whales, and they got a big like island of plastic drifting around. Apparently, the Sea Devils are going to have something to do with that. And I'm hearing, I think, episode 5 for them. But like I said, that's just what I'm hearing, so don't take it as written in stone. Also, I heard something else interesting, but I can't get nobody to elaborate on it, and that is the fact that episode 3 is supposed to be really, really disturbing. Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's going to be like, weird, or I don't know what's going on with that. But that's all I heard. Rumor is, like I said, I've gotten this from 2 different sources, that the Jadoon episode is a 2-parter. Now, what that involves, I don't know. I don't know what the plot is. I just keep hearing it's a 2-parter. But look at the lineup. I'm hearing Cybermen. I'm hearing, we've seen the Janoon. I'm hearing Sea Devils. Also, another tidbit I heard and I read somewhere is don't expect anything like previews or anything till a little bit later this autumn, um, which could mean September, October, um, possibly some pictures, maybe a trailer then. I haven't got any definitive dates as of yet, but when I do, I'll pass them on to you. Great, there was a bunch of stuff I wanted to discuss tonight, and I completely forgot it. Oh yeah. Plus, word is that the winner of the you remember that big art contest they had, for San Diego Comic Con exclusive. I heard those shirts have turned up at a shop somewhere in London, which kind of makes me wonder, just how much of a fair shake did they give the person who won that contest? Are they going to get any of the profits from this? Probably not. But it's just a beautiful day. I just wanted to stop in and throw out a few things. Ask me some questions. Maybe you'll jog my memory because there's something I wanted to discuss tonight and I forgot it completely. I just got done doing an hour on this thing. Okay. I don't know anything about a Christmas special. I doubt it. Because I'm still hearing New Year's Day. A couple weeks later, you're going to get Series 12. And then the following year, it's going to be the same thing. You're going to get New Year's Day again. There's rumors about a Christmas special next year. But like I said, I haven't heard anything about this year. But the thing is, you got to remember, Christmas Day, Doctor Who gets buried. By Mrs. Brown's Boys, EastEnders, Corey, shit like that. And when they aired on New Year's Day, they were the second most watched program, even though all the ball wreck and the Nardo will talk about is the fact it only got 5 point something million ratings. I go, yeah, but it was the second most watched program of the day after Luther. The only thing that beat it was freaking Luther. That's pretty damn good for New Year's Day. Consider most people are trash drunk or, actually hungover. Any other questions, queries, please? Maybe you'll jog my memory because there was something I wanted to bring up tonight. Now I can't remember it. I've been on this damn lawnmower for an hour. Maybe it was the hot cooking sun. It's baked me brain. It's baked me brain. Okay, Joel, see that? Hang on. It's baked me brain. It's baked me brain. So, oh yeah, the death of Rutger Hauer. I think what the first season was intended to do was to give you an idea about these characters, give them a little background, not much though, because the one person I feel got cheated like hell was Yaz. I think Yaz needed a bit more, even though, Demons of the Punjab was supposed to be her bit. I think pretty much Bradley Walsh stole the show on that one still. But I think they wanted to start upbeat to bring people back in. Also, another thought I had today, everybody was bitching and crying about, well, the Doctor's not the Doctor, it's more like a spinoff, and everyone else is doing more than Jodie is. And I think maybe, and this is my theory, I don't know if it's a fact. I was wondering today while I was at work, maybe they minimalized Jodie's Doctor because I want you to think of this. What was the one thing everybody was bitching about? That the show was going woke, it was going to be going, feminism, and it was going to be going like Me Too, go woke, go, all that stupid horseshit. And I'm beginning to wonder if maybe they minimalized and split things up So that way Jodie didn't overwhelm and they didn't get that effect. From what I'm hearing, yeah, the 60th is being planned. The Series 13 has already been commissioned. So, and no, there's no regime change. I do not prefer, no, I still love Peter Capaldi. But you have to remember, I never rate the doctors. Peter was just such a gentleman to people. He's, and she is too, to be honest with you. She, well, not a gentleman, but I mean, she's been kind to the fans. All I've heard is, okay, let me repeat this, John, since you probably just came in. I've heard New Year's Day, 2020. Then, like 2 or 3 weeks later, Series 12. And then they're going to do another New Year special again for 2021. Now, there could be a festive special maybe, because I've heard they aren't going to stop filming until like October, which means that kind of doesn't make sense. Well, the thing is, you got to remember, Peter Capaldi's already in his 60s now. And it's going to be another 4 years between now and the 60th anniversary special. And we just never know what's going to happen, sadly. But what's pissing me off more and more is we had all these companions. We had all these other past doctors who are currently still alive. And yet all they gave them was clips, which, by the way, that means they had to go to the BBC archive and pay BBC archive money. And it cost more to show the clips than it did to have them green screen their face or something onto somebody else and have them participate in that one scene rather than do clips. Or even let them stand at the end when they were showing all the doctors at the end, because bringing in stand-ins to me, I was like, why the hell are you doing this? We know how old these guys are. The surviving doctors should have been in that scene. Then maybe I could turn my opinion up just a little bit on Day of the Doctor. But at the same time, the Zygon subplot was so badly frickin' written, I still can't believe people are holding this up as a masterpiece. Yeah, the only cameo you got was that brief bit where, that clip. And plus, when the War Doctor's starting to change into him. But I really wish Chris had just agreed to do the regeneration scene at least. Even if he didn't want to do the rest, it would have been really nice to see John Hurt turn fully into Chris Eccleston. He could have at least done that. It would have been less than maybe a couple hours on set. It would have been, really brief scene, but I think it would have really, redeemed him in the eyes of some of the fans. But you have to remember, we're lucky Colin Baker has anything to do with the BBC anymore. After how badly they royally rooked him, and back in the 80s. And Eccleston, like I said, what we've seen in interviews, he really kept this quiet because they blackballed him. So, in a way, I can't blame him for being really pissed off, but I really wish he'd done it just for the fans. But like I said, I don't think he's going to tell you anything, even if you ask. And also, maybe you'll put him in a bad mood, But, it's up to you. It's going to be your dime. Just, pop down, leave me a comment, let me know what he says. No, Eccleston had the same contract. Okay, now up to Jodie Whittaker. Every actor who's played the Doctor had a contract that was 1 year with an option to pick up. That includes Tennant, Smith, and Capaldi. Jodie Whittaker, believe it or not, I found out through some friends of mine who know people who really know people. Well, I'm just putting that out a little bit to make it more obscure than it actually is. Jodie Whittaker signed a 3-series contract, which means even though they skipped the 1 year, she's good for 3 series. As far as I know, she's in Series 13 with Chibnall. But it was Eccleston's decision to leave. He told them apparently several months before things were all said and done that he's leaving. I don't know if it was just RTD he had a problem with, but he does make references to people above him as to why he left. He did not also, apparently, he's also made mention, I think, that he did not like the way he saw the character being developed. And I think he wanted more of a hand in it than he got. But something really happened with the bureaucracy at the BBC that Eccleston is still bitter to this day. And also, now that we found out a bit more, because he did speak out about it, they pretty much blacklisted him because he refused to play ball. And that's just not cool. You know, this guy gave you 1 year, but he gave you a spectacular freaking year. And as much as we all loved him, to see him come back, that's his decision. I would have really loved if he'd at least do Big Finish, but he's currently doing. Is he still doing Shakespeare? I believe. I haven't checked up on that in a little while, but he's been doing stage work, theater work. That it's pretty much the trend, yeah. That 3 series and out has been pretty much the trend. Except for Eccleston and of course David, who agreed to stay on for the partial season. To tidy things up before Moffat and them took over. Because I remember there was this big myth going around for the longest time that they cut the 1 series short. About Tenet. Oh, sorry, I just got caught reading that question and it distracted me. I really wish they'd done at least a couple of specials or something, because we used to remember back when we got minisodes. At least we had a few minisodes here and there to tide us over. Remember Doctor Who Confidential? Shit, I missed that. I really do miss Doctor Who Confidential. Then they got rid of it. Now, I think the reason, someone brought up views and all that. I think the reason why Whittaker got more views and all that is because they had to change things. You can kind of tell Moffat was burning out a little bit, I think, towards the end there. Even though he did end on a dazzler with Twice Upon a Time. That was a very, very good swan song for Peter Capaldi. Budget. Fan show was ended the second they changed over reigns, and I think for the same reason. Which I think really pissed off Christelle D and the other folks who were involved in it. She'd been doing website work and stuff like that for the BBC ever since, and then now she's left to move on to other things. Likely it's still going to be the same format. I've not heard anything about anything being changed as far as that goes. I have never seen his Dark Materials. Just to be honest with you, and I don't recall seeing that. I did watch the first episode of Keeping Faith Season 2. There was a few episodes I did like in Series 11, and of course, here's the thing about Series 11 versus other ones, just to make this quick. There's series that have great episodes, and every series has rotten ones in there. Even Smith, Tennant, and Eccleston had a couple of really stinkers. The one that really stand out as far as the stinker thing goes for Series 11 for me was Arachnids in the UK, and that was because it just didn't make any damn sense. Because here you have the Doctor scolding Chris Noth's character because he's going to shoot this spider, but her plan is to run them into a tunnel, into a bunker, lock them up, and let them suffocate to death. Or gas them or something like that. Either way, you're killing them. you know? And also with Capaldi, there was a few here and there that just really, really dropped the ball. Like Sleep No More has got to be the top one as far as the Capaldi era goes. Then there was In the Forest of the Shite. And then, of course, there was, Kill the Mooner. And, oh, man. The Kill the Moon to me, who wrote that one? I forgot. I'd have to look it up at this point because my gray matters, zonked being out here in the sun all day. But who the hell thought it was a good idea to say, oh, now the moon's a frickin' egg? It's like we've had so many episodes across the 56 years that have been involved the moon. Or if you listen to mine, go to the playlist and look up Dr. Freedom and Eric. I did one called Death Moon. And it turns out that our moon is a little bit something, not a dragon egg. But the thing is, I don't know why everybody's harping on Series 11 still so bad, because like every other series, it had good ones and then it had bad ones. Like I said, I enjoyed the series for the most part, but there was an factor I think missing. Maybe it's because they made the Doctor a little bit too cheerful. So I only gave Series 11 like a C plus. If I actually would give it a grade. Oh heck, almost time to go back in. It's going to be dark out here soon. I know. Just think, Boris. Oh, I know. Thank you, John. Oh yeah, Twice Upon a Time was brilliant. It was an incredible adventure. Like I said, I loved Woman Who Fell to Earth. Ghost Monument could have been better. I think there should have been more players involved than just two. I think we should have seen more of the race, with more, like, they talked about the microbes being in the water, and then, sorry about that, my carpal tunnel's acting up and it's making the camera shake. I have not watched much of Hartnell's era, and I haven't done so in a very long time. Yeah, I've really got to get back to it. I've been rewatching some Troutons, of course, with the release of like Enemy of the World and Web Planet and Macroterror, and it's really great that they're starting to animate these episodes to at least, fill in the gap. Because, to be honest with you, those still ones really put me to sleep. Telesnaps knocked me out. I loved Kerblam. I really did. Um, that's why I died laughing. Somebody was going, Jodie's acting is so wooden. And I'm like, dude, you remember the opening of Kerblam? Where she was jumping up and down. It's the Kerblam man. I fell out of my seat laughing my ass off. Yeah, Resolution was a good story too. They really made it seem like it was a movie more than it was an episode. And plus, Rosa was really, really good, and I've already stated why. Because they didn't put on the kit gloves. They didn't, smooth anything over. And I thought for sure I would never ever see the Doctor go to 1950s Alabama. No. I never thought I'd live to see the day that Doctor Who would go into that part of American history. Because it's just not a good time. It's, as I've said before in other videos, both my mom and my dad. My mom grew up in a town called Hazelhurst. My dad grew up in a town named Boonville. They both grew up in Mississippi. So they lived through that time. And as I explained to you in another video, my dad sat me down one night when we were just standing up in the garage, and he told me about it. And little did I know that was like 2.5 hours that went by like that. I really wish they would bring back Susan because Carol Ann Ford is still with us. But it just seems to me more and more like they're just playing for time till they die. It makes me upset. It really does because, you know, well, the whole South was pretty much racist at that time. And also, it wasn't just the South. There were parts of America, the other parts of America, that were just as bad. Well, shit, there's a dragonfly in here. Okay. Um, yeah, there was one where it was him and Susan, the last one I remember, and Susan got recruited into the Time War. No, I did. No, I did not know they were going to go there. Nobody did because it's a very volatile subject, and I never thought for an instant I would have seen a scene like at the beginning with, Ryan, because that's how it was. If a black man even touched a white lady, even to be polite, chances are he'd be hanging in a tree by the end of the week. That's how bad it was. Or worse. And you know what I mean by worse? There's still tales out there about guys being shot, shot in the stomach and left to bleed out. Guys who were dragged behind cars with chains. Yes, Tom Baker should be knighted. He is a national treasure. He is a one of a kind. Why the hell he has not gotten, knighted is beyond me. Because they've knighted the pythons and all that. Ooh, that would take some thought. Because who would she blend in more? What do you think? Classic year or new era? To have Jodie Whittaker appear with another doctor? Who'd you go with? Classic or modern? We could do that, yeah, David Bradley. But at the same time, we've already visited that ground with Peter Capaldi, and it was done so beautifully. I don't know. You could have gone. Hang on. You think he's growing weed over there? Look. Can anybody see that field? Let me know in the comments because I can't read the thing you're saying. Because I'll read the chat later. We had Peter Davison, but remember we had that happen where 5 and 10 got together. I think they should have Sylvester team up with somebody. Or Paul, because Paul's one of them types of guys who just never seems to frickin' age. Which was another reason I was so damn disappointed when he wasn't in the 50th. I'm like, why the hell are you shoehorning in another frickin' doctor when you don't need to? Yep. I did listen to Legacy of Time. I finished it yesterday. And I really love that ending. Why is it? Why is it Big Finish can get 10 doctors in a scene, but the TV show can't? Because we can't write that. That's too intensive. Yeah, I really love Tim Treloar and what he's done. Filling in, for the late John Pertwee. Matter of fact, I still can't believe John Pertwee never got knighted, even posthumously, because here's a guy who was not only the doctor, but he was also a secret agent. He was on the hood, but luckily he transferred off the hood like 3 weeks before it was sank. Also, how many of you heard Fraser Hines doing Patrick Troughton in that scene in Legacy of Time? That was so cool. Can I do the bit with the hammer? I'd love to see Sean in Doctor Who too, because originally, for the longest time, Sean said he would not do it because he felt the show took his father away from him when he was young. But he's since had a change of heart, and he said he'd love to do it as a nod to his father. And he's such an excellent actor in everything he does. Oh, I'm so sorry there, Mid-Atlantic. Okay. You don't want to listen. You don't want to back listen then, because we've talked a little bit about something that happened at the end of that particular serial. So I won't go into any plot details though. I've only seen a couple Wurzel Gummages. It just wasn't my bag. It's more of a kid show, you know. But I got a laugh out of the, I think I watched, like, they had them up on YouTube. Yeah, buy it or get the download at bigfinish.com. Also, how many there actually watch the Omega Files when we have the podcast? Anybody? Give me a hell yeah if you do. All right, because I'd like to get some more ladies on the cast for this next season. It's just we've only got like 2 members who are female currently, and I'd like to get more ladies involved. I want to balance it out a bit more. So if you know anybody who's a sci-fi geek who's like, around 18 or over, have them contact me on the Dr. Freedom page or bounce me a message here. And I'm thinking about getting the guys together and either probably next weekend, not this one, maybe do a review of Legacy of Time. Because I want to make sure everybody's listened to it or had a chance to listen to it again. Because that's what I'm thinking about doing for the next episode. Or if you have any Omega File suggestions, what topics you'd like to see us cover, send it in. Chances are we'll bounce it between us. We'll see if we can do it. I don't like to rate seasons. I usually go by episode. Okay, so stay in touch with me, Mid-Atlantic gal. I'll keep you in mind then. Stay in touch with me. You can bounce me messages here or contact me on the Dr. Freedom Facebook page. You can private message me there. It's just we've got so many guys there, it's become... That was the weirdest sounding Jeep I've ever heard. Legacy of Time is a must-have if you're a classic Doctor Who fan or you're a Big Finish fan in general, because there's so many characters, who have different stories. Like the first story, you should already know this, so this ain't a spoiler, because it's been up on their page for quite a while. The first story finally unites 2 characters that I've been wanting to see put together. Matter of fact, if you go listen to my interview with Lisa Bowerman, and I think it was also in the Omega Files panel we did with her, that she had always wanted River Song to meet Bernice Summerfield. And it finally happens in Legacy of Time. That's the first story called Lies and Ruins. Then you got a story with the River Song. Countermeasures pops up in it, which I was never a big fan of countermeasures. Just not my bag. Seventh and Eighth, like I said, just about all these various pile-ups. The Eighth Doctor is also in the first one, Lies and Runs, and it's a very touching story. Sacrifice of Joe Grant was brilliant. Tim Treloar really outdid himself. Yeah, I was never able to get into countermeasures. It was the team that was together, if I remember right, in Remembrance of the Daleks. And they went in the big finish and became the countermeasures team, and they're trying to sell them that this was the team that predated Unit. And it just never worked like that for me because, as far as I'm concerned, Brigadier, well, then Colonel Lethbridge Stewart put Unit together, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, that story, yeah, Sacrifice of Joe Grant is really, really good. It's very touching that, they're able to, have the older Joe go back. Well, oh, gods. You've listened to it because you're talking about it. Go back and meet the third Doctor again. Then the third Doctor comes forward a bit and meets. Oh, sorry. Sorry, it's just my little thing against the certain actress who decided to diss me online rather than take a joke. Ingrid Oliver. Yeah, she blocked me, by the way, Ingrid Oliver. If you haven't heard that story, that's a long one. And all over a Charlie's Angels poster. Well, I don't like her anymore either. Because apparently she looked at my picture, which was on my profile, which means I'm a middle-aged white guy, therefore I must be a chauvinist. And that's the way I was treated. And it really pissed me off, too, because even though Osgood was another one of Moffat's super characters, I could understand where it was coming from. But they made Osgood into this indestructible super character towards the end, and just why the hell did you did that? I liked her more when she was just regular Osgood. Then once again, kill her. Oh, she's back. Oh my god. That is the coolest looking. Hang on, let's see if I can get him on camera. Yeah. Oh darn, he took off. There's a big old dragonfly circling over here, and it landed. And it depends on what your bag. Like I said, I didn't really get much into the new Unit series either. It just seemed to me like, well, the first series was a bit rough, and they got better, I think, in the second one. Have I got any Dr. Freedom and Eric audio listeners out there anyway while I'm here? Anybody listen to the audios I do? Well, it's a full cast. It's not just me now. I got to go back and remaster the first one because I've learned so much since I did Skydark. And Skydark, like I said, when I go back and listen to it now, I'm like, oh my god, what a mess. Because I didn't know half what I do now about audio mixing. And I was really just winging it back then. Yeah, if you ever look for them there, just go. Matter of fact, when you come to the home channel, scroll down and there should be the playlist, or go to the playlist section. The first one was Skydark, second one was Death Moon, third one was Comes the Imperator, and the fourth one, which is what we're on now, of course, is What Lies Beneath. And this next chapter, I've almost got it written. Line should be going out for it soon. And you're going to find out some of the secrets of the monks. And let's just say that the way they're acting, pay very close attention. I don't want to give any spoilers for anyone who's listening. I'm going to try to have episode 7 out by the end of this month because I'm over halfway done with the script for it. It's just, there's a lot of stuff that's going to go into this one. If you ever get a chance, you watch them, please give them a like. It's not just for me. It's just there's a group of people who are out there doing this with me. They're not making a dime off this. I'm not making a dime off this. We do it because we love stories. But in a kind, platonical way. Okay, I am going to watch Picard because I think they're finally making the wise move that they're going to lean back towards the Prime universe. Anybody here listen to Midnight's Edge? Please do. If you don't listen to that channel, I barely ever recommend other YouTube channels. Go listen to Midnight's Edge, especially with what happened with Discovery, Brian Fuller and how they screwed him over. Because it turns out Brian Fuller had the idea for the damn Picard series back when he was in charge. They stole it too. But also, CBS. All right, here's some good news for you Star Trek fans if you're out there. Do I have any Star Trek fans on? Give me a hell yeah or nanu nanu or a live long and prosper or a kapla, whichever race you are. Okay, I haven't listened to the After Dark, but I'm a regular listener to Midnight's Edge. Okay. Great, now I forgot what I was going to say. Um, CBS and Viacom, that's right, are going to merge. They're going to re-merge back together. Now, when this happens, when CBS and Viacom merge back under one company, that means all of the Star Trek rights are going to be back under one roof, which is why I'm beginning to think that they've started to lean. They've lent, looks like they're leaning Picard back towards the Prime universe. Because you'll notice, things that are in there that were not in Discovery and all that. I don't know why they're trying to save Discovery because it's a lost cause. Kurtzman screwed it up way too bad. Why they had to go back and do another prequel series is beyond me because that's one major thing that turned me off about Discovery, and that's why I never watched it because we've already had one prequel series in Enterprise. Why are you doing it again? And why does it have to be in that era? And also, I think it might have been part of the fact that, oh, look, they're dealing with this part in history that Axanar was tackling. And so we got to shut Axanar up. Also, a lot of people don't know this, but Jim Cawley was going to do a story for Star Trek New Voyages called Origins, and it quietly shut down and disappeared. Because it was going to deal with Picard and not Picard, I mean Kirk. It's going to have Kirk flashing back to his days in the Academy with Christopher Pike, Spock, and all that. Well, I'm giving it a proper reference now because I don't watch it. And I don't think I ever will. It's just, I'm tired of freaking sequels. Yeah, Lower Decks is a joke. I'm not going to watch it either. If I wanted Star Trek Teen Titans Go, I just watch Teen Titans Go and play the Star Trek theme or something. Okay, it just favorite horror film. Damn, that's so hard to narrow down because I have so many I love. Like I'm so in love with the whole Romero genre movies. His lot. Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. Then he did a few after, like Survival of the Dead, stuff like that. I really love those types of movies because it was his baby first. Um, but horror-wise, it's hard to nail down because I love so many. I even like the classic horror, Hammer stuff, and there's some good slasher movies out there. That's how I rate those. I really don't. I call them slasher. I really don't rate them as horror. But oh crap! Look, the sun's coming in the door and it's blinding me. Oh, so now I gotta lean forward. I know I was so pissed off because they were going to be doing that Dark Universe series for Universal movies, and the Mummy, that stupid ass remake of the Mummy, bombed hard. Why they thought Cruise was a good pick for that is beyond me. Because if that movie had taken off, that new version of The Mummy, it was going to lead back into a whole series of them. But like, Frankenstein, Wolfman, Dracula, all of them were going to be tied into it. And it died with that movie because that movie was so freaking bad. Hell, the actors they had playing the Mummy phoned it in. Ah, Colditz. David Tennant playing a rapey German guard. Yeah. Yeah, the one German guard in Colditz is played by David Tennant. The one who keeps trying to get Ace. Creepy. Well, guys, it is starting to get dark out here, so I got to go inside. I didn't really intend this to last that long. I was just going to get on here and rant a bit. Have you seen the new Hills Have Eyes? Those aren't bad, the remakes. Yeah, Dave Tennant did quite a bit of Big Finish back in the day before he, got the, became the Doctor. Audiobook Bay. I didn't say that. You didn't hear me. It was a whisper. Yeah, the first Hills remake was the best one. The original, of course, is always a treasure. Because my wife and I met the guy who played the bald dude. I can't remember his name. I want to say Michael Berryman. And he has, I can't remember how many genetic disorders. And one of them is got him, basically, he's got the same type of disorder that Matt Lucas has. He has no body hair. Friday the 13th, to me, it just really, after Jason Takes Manhattan, I didn't bother. I hung in there that long, and I don't know why. I didn't like the remakes for Friday the 13th. They just didn't work for me. H2O for Halloween I liked. I got to remember that. Of all the ones that came later, way later, I liked H2O. I liked the story to it. Yeah, Jason's like the Master. It's the same thing with Mike Myers and all that, too. I always compare the Master to. Hostel was screwed up, man. Oh, God. Oh, Jason Goes to Hell. When you were watching that movie, did you catch all the Easter eggs? Like when the guy or whatever falls down in the basement, and that crate sitting there is the crate from the Creep Show, and the knife that was on the altar along with the book were from Evil Dead. Yeah. Well, Beavers' master was the same as Peter Pratt's, but he didn't want to wear the latex mask because he wanted to be able to emote. He felt he couldn't really do the character because Peter Pratt, remember, wore that big full face thing with the eyeballs bugging out. And he didn't want to do that, so that's why they changed the makeup and actually did a makeup job rather than put him in the mask. By the way, Jeffrey Beavers, who was married for the longest time to Caroline John, who played Liz Shaw. Well, I got to get it going, guys. It's starting to get dark out here, and I got to do a little bit of weed eating and stuff like that before I go in, so Remember, folks, it's okay not to like something, but at least use constructive criticism. Think about it first. Don't, like, if you insult somebody because their opinion's different than you, you've lost the argument to begin with. That's called attack the man. And it's always a classic thing that people use if they feel they're losing the argument. If you have honest criticism, don't be afraid to share it. Say, look, I didn't like this, I didn't like that. Don't say, such great things as, Jodie Whittaker sucks ass. That just doesn't work. So I'm going to go now, folks. So please take care of yourselves, each other. Have a good one. See you on the flip side, kiddies.